Welcome to the Clean Truth, where we like to call bullshit on the status quo. What is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Clean Truth. I'm Don. Silver Fox.
I'm back, baby.
Going golfing again?
2 in a row.
2 podcasts in a row with a frickin' polo.
Yeah, this
What
gets
are you
you.
gonna do with this guy?
This makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes this morning. I like it.
Got a guest, Matt Lynch.
Second appearance.
Second appearance. Welcome back, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
The
having me.
analytics must have been through the roof to get an invite back again.
Yeah.
It's
They were
big
really
time.
good, actually. That
Happy to hear
podcast
it.
was
Other
pretty
than
good.
me and Yvonne, I don't know if we've had any returning appearances yet, so this could be a first.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that one for a minute.
Outside of the company. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Today's topic, we're going to get a little serious. You know, one of the slogans that we use on the show is, you know, that we like to call bullshit on the status quo. And I don't really go out of my way to do that every episode. It's kind of, you know, it would get redundant if I did that. But when the opportunity presents itself and it's something serious that I am passionate about and I want to talk about, and it is a status quo that I think is a little bullshit, I'm going to say something about it. And
For
so
sure.
that's kind of one of the reasons why I started this whole podcast. And that's what we're going to do today. I will give a quick shout out to our fake sponsor of the day, Rain Energy.
They did send us some little stash of drinks. It's big time pickup for HQ.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you pronounce this new flavor, but I'm excited about it.
Well, I just thought it was cool that the lady told you that she listened to the show and heard it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That makes me feel good.
For sure. We
So-
got fans out there, man.
Shout out to Rain, man. Thank you guys for the drinks. All right, the topic of the day is everybody knows the status of the world that's going on right now, from COVID to Black Lives Matter to Pizzagate to Obamagate. I'm being sarcastic here, but I'm also being serious. But like all of the major issues that are going on in the world. And the one thing that irritates the shit out of me, which was the whole reason I wanted to do this show, is all of the hate and the negativity between people themselves when these subjects get brought up. It's almost cliche and it's unheard of that people have a fucking educated opinion or a conversation about it. It never happens.
Yep.
I have yet to see a podcast where this happens. I haven't seen a TV show. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. So if there's one out there, I'm unaware. But you just don't see people having a conversation without one of the two of them getting really heated, really fucking aggravated, and the whole thing just going out the window.
Yeah, or goes completely just one direction.
So the point that I wanted to do today was to prove to people that you can do this. This can be done.
Yeah.
And we've actually done it before. We just weren't on a podcast. We've done it out on your boat. We've done it in general conversations. I've done it with you separately. I've done it with you separately. It's fine. It's okay to have a difference of opinion.
For sure.
I chose bringing you back for a reason. And the reason is because I think we both know Ben, love him.
Yep.
Ben has views that are one way. Are they wrong? No. They're just different. I have views on some of the things that are different from him, and same with you. You
Right.
have views that are probably different from both of us. We don't know yet. We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
But I think having a conversation between the three of us, knowing that we all three might have some different views on this stuff, maybe it'll set an example and show people that this can be done. You can talk about these things.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not, well, just because I think that you're going to vote for Trump in November, you're a fucking asshole and you're
Yeah.
racist. That's not the case. It doesn't mean anything. So I'll just start right out of the gate with, you know, I made a list of the things that I wanted to talk about. The first one was COVID. You know, the COVID pandemic, despite what any of us think about, you know, it's here, it's happening, and people have different views on it, and it's creating a lot of rift and a lot of tension between people. You have part of society that thinks it's one of the deadliest things on the planet, and they're scared to touch anything. They wear, you know,
Gloves and masks.
yeah,
and
I mean,
hazmat
they look
suit.
like Scuba Steve, and then, which, I mean, I'm making fun of them, but if that's what makes them comfortable, so be it. I
Right.
don't care. And then you have the other people that just don't give a shit.
Right.
They're, you know, I could make the argument that they're just as reckless. You know what I mean? They're not. And then, you know, on that side, they're incompassionate for people that do take it seriously. So what do you do with this? Where do you go? When is enough enough?
Yeah. I think my views on it is from the mask standpoint. Let's start right there.
Yeah.
The mask bothers a lot of people. For me, the 20 minutes in the grocery store has never really been a big deal. Now, I'll tell you this. I went down to Myrtle Beach this past weekend. I watched basketball games for 5-6 hours. And 6 hours of having the thing wrapped around my ears, like, it did start to give me a headache. Like, I can understand, like, that long of a period of time.
Right.
But I even switched to, like, the other one that comes up from the neck and, like, covers your nose. And so I don't think it's a big deal, the mask. I mean, wearing it for me, if it's going to help, I just look at it like, my parents are getting older, and, like, my dad has had a couple health scares here and there. And, like, if it's going to help something like him for the 20 minutes that I'm in there, like, fine, and I'm not that aggressive about it. There was a guy that I saw at Harris Teeter just this past weekend, and there was an older gentleman standing there at the front door, and he, like, cussed him out. And he's like, picture the, like, Walmart greeter guy standing there, and he's asking this guy to put on a mask, and he's, you don't want this mother effing problem, like, to this old man. And I'm just like, okay, like, it's not, buddy, just put the mask on. It's not that serious that you're going to fight a senior citizen over. But
Sure.
That's just my view.
I don't particularly like them. I think, like you said, like, I don't even like them for the 20 minutes. Maybe because I'm a mouth breather. I don't breathe very well through my nose, like, just uncomfortable. But at the same time, I would rather wear the mask and get more back towards the quote unquote normal, as opposed to, not be able to go out to dinner and do like normal things per se. So yeah, the mask is not the biggest issue for me. I mean, we turn into, like, we go into, like, schools and kids going back to school, and these sporting events and things like that, large gatherings. And then that's where I start to kind of get like, okay, how much overkill are we going? And like I said, it's just my opinion on some of those things, but the masks don't bother me too much. I'd rather have the mask and get back to normal than not be back to normal.
And then speaking on the normal, like, I don't understand what some of our ideas are. I don't understand so obviously I work in sports. That's kind of my profession in my life. And so with us not having fall sports, we're canceling this sport, we're canceling that sport. How can we cancel those sports? But now we can bring 15,000 kids back to campus for education and for classes. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't go play soccer. You can't have college football.
One or the other.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't understand how we're going to try and pull some of this off.
So here's what aggravates me about the whole damn thing. Nobody knows the truth. That's what aggravates me.
Good point.
It's like all this data and all of these numbers that you see on TV, you don't know whether they're true or not. The numbers keep rising because obviously they're testing more people. Well, no shit. The numbers are going to go up. The death toll keeps going down. So where does it stop? Where do you draw the line? I feel like the virus, the COVID thing, is very real. It's there. It can make elderly people and people with health issues very sick. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't want to sit here and say, blow this off. It's not that big of a deal. It ain't going to happen to me. I'm not saying that. I don't want to sound incompassionate. But, you can look at H1N1, the flu, and all these other things. None of this happened. So the thing that aggravates me is I feel like this whole thing is being leveraged for political gain and for other issues rather than the government on both sides coming together and saying, okay, how do we get rid of this, or how do we tame this? What do we do? They're battling back and forth, and we're in the middle of it. That's what pisses me off about it. It has nothing to do. Do I mind wearing a mask going to the grocery store? No, I don't care. Do I mind wearing one in our restaurant because that's what we're quote unquote supposed to do? No, I don't care. And the reason why is because I'm split down the middle. Some of our customers, it's not an issue to them. Some of our customers, it is. Well, that half of the aisle of the customers that it bothers them if we're not going to wear a mask, it ain't worth me losing them to say, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a mask. No, I'm not going to do that, obviously.
Right.
I don't think any business should. Right. If you care about your customer base and it's important to them, do it. Whether you believe in it or not, just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is a line. There is a line where you're like, okay, we're doing this, but this is it. Like,
for
this
sure.
is my line.
And I think we all kind of agree that it's just kind of unbelievable that it's 5 months of people battling each other for reasons we could only try to get to understand and everything like that. But now we're 5 months deep of the year, or per se, that it's kind of been taken away because of people wanting to argue with each other and argue about a virus being really serious or not really serious. So it's just sad that that's where it's at. And I think the three of us can definitely agree on, like, let's come to some kind of compromise and let's be done with it. I think you put up something the other day, like, would you take a vaccine? Yes or no? But like, even if there is a vaccine, like, at least that maybe helps give people the option and maybe the comfortability that, okay, if there's a vaccine out there, I can choose to take it, or you can choose not to take it. But maybe that, as long as we get something out there, maybe that puts the icing on the cake and finishes it off. So
I agree.
Have you guys seen I Am Legend?
Oh yeah.
I ain't taking no vaccine. Like, you better find somebody else. So.
You ain't sticking me with that vaccine unless it's like 3 or 4 years old. It's been proven to work, and you know what I mean. Like, I just won't fly anywhere, and all the bullshit you see online. Well, you're not gonna be able to fly. You're not gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I live by the water, baby.
I still got keys.
Go nowhere.
And I got a van,
Yeah.
baby.
I can drive.
Still got keys.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
And I think this is a touchy one. And again, I think the same thing is going on with Black Lives Matter that's going on with COVID, and it's really sad. I think it was a movement that when the issues happened, when the incident happened with George Floyd, that was sad. That everybody knows, like, it was murder, plain and simple, shouldn't have happened. But it woke a lot of people up to a really good cause that a lot of people were turning a blind eye to. We'll be completely transparent and open about that. I think that, you know, the issue with racism needed to be addressed, but now I think it's being taken advantage of.
Agreed.
I think the whole movement and the whole thing, which started out to be a very good thing happening, got taken advantage of and got stolen, and now it's being overshadowed by a lot of bad shit going on.
Agreed.
And it's very, very irritating. I
just can't get over the violence and the, you know, ruining of like property and everything like that. Like, trash. I'm a OCD freak myself. Like, see something, pick it up, kind of thing like that. I've been on college campuses my whole life, and like, when it's taken to that place where it like ruins the place where you put your head down at night and your town and your city and everything like that, that just upsets me. Like, I'm okay with people, you know, having their views and speaking their mind. I just hate to see things get destroyed in the capacity that they are right now. That just really fires me up to like again, why do we have to take it to that level? Like, you can be as loud as you want to and not put spray paint on something or destroy something. I mean, I'm 100% okay with, you know, the speech aspect. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I'm never for somebody else destroying somebody's property. But I do think that that our country has kind of come to a standstill at the point of like radical change is needed. And how do you come about that radical change? And, you know, just last night I was on the phone with my mom and we were kind of discussing this. And she talked to me about, there was something in the news, and like there was a young African-American girl holding up a sign that said, "Fuck the police." And, you know, she was just like taken back by that sign. And now I understand, like, I don't have anyone directly in my family that is a police officer or that is putting themselves like in harm's way. I mean, it's, you know, it's a dangerous profession. But I also think that I have the ability, just because of my involvement. Like, I've been coaching for 10 years, and probably 95% of the players I've coached are, not white kids. And so is it at the point that, like, that they're so angry. People are so angry. People are so fed up. People don't know what to do, because this has been going on in our country for so long that, they have to write "fuck the police" on a piece of paper and hold up the sign. Whether I agree with the words or anything, that's for not really. I can't have an opinion. I'm a white kid born in a nice neighborhood that's never, had to deal with any of that. But, it wouldn't take much for, this is your building. It wouldn't take much for me, you, Ben, Kyle to go grab some baseball bats and stand outside and protect this building against anybody. And, like, are they at that point? Are people at that point that, they're having to, they don't know what to do? I'm saying this, I know that people are at this point. And, I've seen the stuff out there that's like, I don't understand, but I still stand. And, it was a little cheesy of a line, but I agree with that. Like, I've never been, a young African-American kid. I just know we have to create change. And it's got to be that I kind of just told my mom last night that if she's out for a walk, even in our neighborhood, and she sees me walking towards her at night, she probably doesn't think too much of it and just keeps it moving. And then I used an example of one of the players that played for us. I won't say his name, but an African-American player that she knows very well. I said, if you didn't know him and he was walking, you are not racist, you're not prejudiced, you're not anything like that, but you would probably internally tighten up a little bit. And I said, and I think that is what we're working to remove. That's just another person.
But I can argue the other side of that.
Okay.
There's a reason why that happens, and it's just history. Not that I agree with it, or not that I say it is what it is, but why do you think that happens every time? I'm not saying the guy's a criminal. I'm not saying he did anything wrong.
Yeah.
But there's a reason. It's because of what people see around the world, the crime and everything else that gets associated, whether it's justified or not. I'm not saying that it is, but that's why that happens. And that is what needs to change also. It takes change on both sides.
For sure.
Even with the political aspect of the whole fucking thing, where you have Republicans and people on the right side of the aisle blaming Democrats who are supporting Black Lives Matter. And it's just a tick for tack, man. It goes on both sides. But neither side is working towards a solution for it. I could sit here and go on and on about Republicans who should be responsible for some of this fucking change, and they're not doing it.
Right.
They're just not. They want to argue back and forth about it. And I think it's ridiculous. I think it's, I have down on here in my notes, and I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't really know, because you don't know what's true online or what's not. But, like, the whole Black Lives Matter organization as a whole, they have they have a tax-exempt status. You know what I mean? Like, where does the money go that has been donated to Black Lives Matter?
Don't know the answer to that.
Me neither. Do you know?
No.
Exactly. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's not being done. I just don't know. And I would like to know. So for me to get more behind that organization, and then you see the leaders, are being called Marxist, they're being called this, that, and the other thing. I think one of them just got convicted of prostitution or something to do with human trafficking or something like that, I read. I don't know if that's true. That's the issue. Is the shit that you see online, you don't know whether to believe it or not.
Yeah.
And that's another big issue with it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I also kind of fall with, the donating, the money seems to, obviously money runs our country. And that's often what I hear is like, okay, this money is that's being funneled to BLM is being funneled to this Democrat or, over to China or, multiple different things. I'm not really, I'm not in the status that I can even really be donating money right now, but I'm more interested in like how you treat people. And I think like I think that's probably when all of this started, I think that was the focus. And as we've said, it got a little, the waters have been muddied about this, and the politics got involved, and now nobody knows what's going on. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, we all just need to do a better job of treating people. I mean, I'm in your weight room working out, and I've got Tupac playing, and just go listen to his greatest hits album. It's everything he's singing about. You would think that he's alive right now, dealing with the shit that we're dealing with right now. And I mean, this is 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yep.
And so we need to treat people.
Man, don't date me like that. Wow. It wasn't no 30, 40 years ago, man.
Well, the stuff that he's singing about, like him singing wasn't that long, but like the racial injustices were still, that's been going on way past that. And so we have to be better humans, and we, us as three white dudes, like we have to do our part. And, that's why I think what you're doing right now is great, because we all, like you're saying, have different opinions on where we should fall, but I think that all three of us are open to doing the right thing.
For sure.
And that's a start. Now we need to go find three more, and they need to find three more. And like when Ben has kids, like hopefully your kids are living in a different world than what we're dealing with right now.
No doubt. Can't get any scarier than it is right now, you hope.
Yeah. Getting back to the donating money, though, and the donations, I think that if you were going to be in a position to donate money to BLM or that cause or that issue, I've seen a lot of people that I know very well personally who are way far off financially than I am. I'm not in a position to be able to do what they did, but if I was, I would absolutely do it the same way. And that is, instead of donating money to that organization, they found black-owned businesses that were struggling and put their money in their business. Like, to me, that was just awesome.
Yeah.
They didn't go online and, make a big deal about it. You never really even saw it. Yeah. I know that it happened because I know them, but I'm like, okay, that's a really good way to make change. Not going on social media and, blasting the fact that you donated $100,000 to Black Lives Matter. That ain't doing nothing.
Right.
And I mean, to be honest with you, even these pro sports leagues, MLB, NBA, all this other shit, they can go online and they can put all this support out there for it, but show me where it's going. Show me what you're actually doing with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. I want to see, a good example is what happened in St. Louis during the riots. There was an elderly black lady who her business got destroyed. And one of the people that I know back there donated a lot of money to her business and helped her get it back.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's pretty cool.
Obviously I'm a basketball guy. The NBA, then I'm sure that they are doing positive things with those donations, but like you're saying, like
I'm not saying that they're not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
They just need to do a better job of showing us where it's going.
For
like
sure.
That it should be like we should be seeing so many ads or commercials of like, here's where your money, like it should just be ingrained in our head. And then, because then that takes that question out. And like, like you're saying, donating to businesses, I think is a great way to do it if you can do that. Nonprofits. I mean, there's so many nonprofits out there of like, I know that a lot of players, when they get done playing professionally, that's what a lot of them like to do is create nonprofits. And so, if I had the money, I would go, I have a former player that runs a nonprofit and like, I trust him with my life. Like I would definitely funnel money into that. So there's multiple avenues.
I could even go down a rabbit hole. Show me where like NBA, MLB, NFL, all of them. Like, how many jerseys have you bought? How many pairs of Nikes have you bought?
Yeah.
Where are those made? You know where they're made?
China.
Yeah. For somebody's probably making those for 35 cents an hour. So you're going to sit here and get on a pedestal and say that you're doing this, that, and the other thing, but I don't know. I won't go down there.
Different subject.
Next one is police reform. This one means a lot to me because I have family, very, very close friends who are LEOs. And it's important to me. And I've had a lot of discussions, lots of them, in the last 4 or 5 months over this issue. And since the incident happened in Minnesota, like, I don't even know a direction to go here. All I know is, does something need to be changed? Does there need to be some sort of police reform? Absolutely. And the very first thing that comes to mind is a conversation that I had with my attorney on the phone. And it's never escaped my brain. Like, what he said has never left my mind. And I always think about it. I always come back to it. And I'm like, okay, well, how do we make this happen? And I don't know a way. But he said the issue isn't with the actual police themselves. Yes, there is issues with that. I'm not going to completely dismiss some of them. Just like anything else, you've got a percentage of people who are just straight up assholes in any organization that are going to make the other 80 to 90% or whatever that is look horrible. So, but what he told me was the issue isn't with police or anything like that. The issue is as a society as a whole, there's too many laws. Like, it's the laws that those police officers are having to uphold on a daily basis compared to some of the other countries that you go to, which is the problem. But my rebuttal to that is our country and we as a society are too immature to be able to handle those. You know, and one of the examples that he had, you know, the guy goes down to like Costa Rica all the time and down to these smaller countries and that are down south, and, you know, these people are free. They can walk down the street with a beer can in their hand. It's not illegal. They can walk down the street with a joint in their hand. It's not illegal. That's the types of things that he's talking about. He's like, some of the laws that our law enforcement are being held to try to uphold on a daily basis is what causes it's a snowball effect, man. I mean, like, you pull somebody over if they got a joint in their car, they're going to jail. Why? They're not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? But I feel like, yes, I would love for it to be that way. I really would, and I agree with him. But it's been proven time and time again. Look at what's going on right now. With all of these issues, some of them, all of them, not some of them, I take that back, all of them are very, 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 very meaningful. But you have a very big chunk of people over here taking advantage of it. That's what I'm talking about. So you've got these people who are taking advantage of a good situation. They're rioting, they're looting, they're breaking windows. They don't give two fucks about a cause. They don't.
Right.
They're just doing it because they can get away with it.
Taking
Younger
advantage.
kids are seeing this now. They're starting to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if we scaled back on the laws that these police officers were trying to enforce, it would change. I guarantee you it would change. But I think our society is too fucking immature to handle that. It's like you give everybody an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Yeah.
You tell some guy, hey, by the way, it's not illegal for you to walk down the street with a beer. You're going to have people partying in the streets. It's a snowball effect, man.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
So
Can't go backwards.
I don't know. I don't know what to do there. So
I think I'm with you. If they could make those changes, I think that would be for the better. And I just know that I'm not okay with the few bad apples comment. Like, oh, there's a few bad apples within the police force. You know, somebody put it to me as like, what if there was a few bad apples that were like flying the planes? And like, so every once in a while, like, oh, Delta plane 4995 crashed, but he wasn't a good one. Like, you know, that you wouldn't fly. I wouldn't fly. Like if that was kind of the case. And so, you know, there needs to, I'm not for the defunding or eliminating of the police force at all. I mean, they protect and serve us, and, you know, their job is to keep us safe. I'm more into the vetting, training, like, as far as I'm concerned, like your privacy rights should probably be violated if you want to be a police officer. Like I should see your Google searches. You know, if I'm the U.S. government and I'm gonna put a weapon in your hands and like tell you to go protect and keep the peace, like I should know those thoughts that you don't want anybody to know. And you know, I think if you knew somebody's Google searches, you'd know a lot about them pretty quickly. And you know, just like the reform that's kind of happened here, even in Wilmington, you know, with our new chief of police, and on his first day, you know, getting rid of 3 veteran police officers, but, you know, they were making comments and saying things that were, you know, disgusting. And so it's 2020 is something. It really is.
No, I can get behind that too.
I was gonna say,
I agree. I think we can
agree.
all three agree on that one. Like, yeah, more training, more education, and like you said, more vetting.
Yeah.
I mean, just 3. it seems to us like 3 easy steps to help. And again, that would be a slow burner, like change over multiple years. But I mean, you kind of like brought it up, like same thing with like marijuana. That's been a slow burner like of change over the last few years. Right. And I think it's not becoming as such a hot topic right now, but it's slow reform and slow change. So if you implement some of the slow form and slow change into the police force and everything like that, right. Then
I agree.
Hopefully the goal is that it gets better.
And believe me, my comment with the whole few bad apples thing wasn't trying to justify that it's okay. That wasn't what I was trying to say at all. I totally agree with you. Like, I think doing a bigger background search, I'm okay with them having more training. Even, I don't even know where to go with their privacy. Where do you draw the line with that? I don't know. I mean,
it's not an easy decision.
I know.
Sure.
I agree, but I have never experienced anything with police that's been bad. I was a shithead juvenile, so I mean, I got in a lot of trouble when I was a younger kid, but that was 25 years ago. So I'm not going to sit here and try to put myself in anybody's shoes by any means. I do think there is some major change that's needed. I just don't know what the answer is, man. I don't really know. I know that, not to circle back and keep beating a dead horse, but if we made it legal for the public, the general public, to carry, I don't know, for sake of conversation, 8 ounces of weed on them, where does that stop? Because then people are going to take advantage of it. And then the next thing you know, people are going to walk around with a pound of weed, 2 pounds of weed. It's just going to keep snowballing from there. That's what the point I was trying to get at. So how do we loosen the reins on things a little bit to where these police officers aren't responding to stupid shit, where it's going to escalate to something very, very serious,
right?
Without us as people who aren't law enforcement being assholes and saying, well, if I can get away with this, I can get away with this.
Right.
Is there other countries out there, which I know that there are, I think that would probably be a good starting place, is like to try and follow a model of what somebody else has done. Off the top of my head, I can think of Amsterdam, that's always been known as a party place. But how do they regulate it? Where do they draw the line? And just, to try and learn from somebody that's kind of done it or, has allowed it would probably be a good starting place.
No doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it'd be interesting to see that. Next thing is child trafficking.
Hey.
Dude, the only thing I have next to my notes right here is burn them all in capital letters, exclamation point. I don't even know what else to say about that.
The crazy thing is, like, the more educated you get about that, the more like shocked, I guess, like kind of like sit back in your seat. You're like, holy crap. Like,
I've seen so much shit online about this, and do you believe it all? I don't know. Is it hard to ignore? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, there's too many things that keep getting that from different sources that keep getting repeated and put out there. Like, I mean, if this is really going on and everybody's been oblivious to this, it's going to rock the world. I mean, the fact of the matter that it's not being televised and nobody is even hearing about it, it's not on the news, it's not on social media, is baffling to me. It's
right.
Very, very baffling, but we don't have to spend too much time on this.
You guys are going to have to educate me because, as you were saying, I don't know much about it. Like, I've heard the little bits and pieces of it, but I am with you. Like, burn them all. Woo! I'm good with it.
Lynch ain't up to date on this.
Well, I mean, there's so much stuff that's going on. So, like, yeah, it does get kind of hidden, and it is a hidden like thing. Nobody's like just talking about that. I mean, you want to talk about beer and weed and like drinking and smoking, yeah, but you start talking about child trafficking, everybody kind of like sits back and like takes that to heart, and that's a really hard conversation for somebody to like point a finger and say like you're wrong or you are doing this because it's just so hard for everybody to believe like deep down inside like that is really actually happening. And it's deep. I mean, it's another like full on like wormhole to go down. But
send me a couple articles.
No, I think to bring it back to your point, like the scary thing is like that we have all these other things going, from politics to Black Lives Matter to like the State of the Union and where everything is. And then you throw that on top of it, and it's just like, man, there's
Chaos,
so
man.
much stuff. Like,
Chaos.
and to your point, it's really hard to be educated on everything and still, do what you're doing on a daily basis.
Agree. Education, bringing kids back to school. We talked about this for a minute ago. Man, I don't know what the right move here is.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, on one hand, I would like to see society get back to normal and then figure out a way to get people to go back to school and for us to get sports playing back again and things like that. You can pound that rain, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting excited about this podcast. Time to get going.
But at the same time, like I said, you've got half the people over here who they're scared, man. They're scared to death. And I can't say that I blame them. Am I? Would I be? No, that's just me. I would not be. But I can't sit there and ridicule them for being afraid to send their kids to school.
What do you think the percentage of like parents like across the U.S. would be? And let's just say elementary to middle. Let's take high school out of the equation right now. But like, what do you think the percentage would be if you just said, okay, we're going to have school. There's going to be social distancing. And if you choose not to send your kid to school, we will have virtual access for your child. What do you think the percentage of parents would actually send their kids to school versus stay home? Do you think it's straight 50-50 right now? Or do you feel like there's more that,
I think it'd be close, man. I really do. And here's the other thing. I think this is going to change the education system for good.
Yeah.
Especially like elementary, pre-K, grade school type stuff. I think it's going to change for good. I don't think I think it'll be quite some time before you see kids flocking back to a school the way that they did pre-COVID.
So what do you do? So the scary part for me, like wanting to be a parent and everything like that, is like, in touch with my finances and things like that. What do you do as far as like, okay, if I can't send my kid to elementary school, like, what does that look like for me coming to work every day and my wife going to work every day? Like,
that's what I mean. Like,
that's the scary part.
I don't have
for
kids.
me, and I don't even have kids right now. Like, we have a couple that works with us, and they have 2 kids, and I know they're juggling week to week trying to figure out how to run their business and everything like that. And I feel their pain on that because I have no idea what you do, especially if you don't have family nearby.
I couldn't even imagine it. I don't have kids, so I don't know what it's like to have to think about that.
Right.
That's why I said I don't have an answer for this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, everything's about to change. I mean, just like you were saying. I mean, my sister's a 3rd grade teacher, and she teaches at an inner city school back home. And,
What are they doing?
They're going completely virtual.
So does she do virtual from home or school?
Well, she is being told she's got to go into the school and be virtual from the school, at least for the first few maybe weeks or maybe it's a month. I'm not sure. But it's, now you're putting, as you were saying, you're putting so much back onto these parents. Like before it was like get your kids up, get them to the bus, and then like really once they got to school, they were at school. Now you're talking about like getting them up. So now you got to get them in front of a laptop. So you better have the money for the technology, your Wi-Fi speed, all that stuff. And then like these are kids. I was a bad little shit. Like you're going to put me in front of a computer and then mom and dad's going to walk away. I'm going to close. I'm not listening to this lady talk. I'm going to start watching Netflix. Right. And it's just it's all going to change. But I don't know how you fix it, but I cannot imagine where I would be in life if I didn't get to go be a freshman in college. Like I would not be sitting at this desk without like me having those experiences and, making that group of friends that I made. And like they shaped me for the rest of my life. And like I was so immature. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wasn't friendly. I didn't have any friends. And like that group that I was around kind of created the Matt that's sitting here today. And like now I feel for these high school seniors that they didn't get a prom. They didn't get to walk across the stage. Like I can't tell you anything about me walking across the stage. Like it wasn't a big deal,
right.
But like now I look back, like that's like almost it's a rite of passage. And now you're saying now they're not going to get that freshman year in college. Like now it's going to be all virtual from home, you know, like those kids are being deprived of life experiences that is, you know, going to form the rest of their life. And that's just
It's going
like,
to alter their maturity.
yeah. I mean, it's awful.
No better
I'm
time to
very-
go into the trades.
Dude,
You
don't
and
even get me
I
started on
talk
that.
about this a lot,
I
and
swear, man.
I mean, I'm not super handy, but like, I look into that, and I know like your background and everything like that, and you and I have thrown that topic around, but I'm like, man, like being an entrepreneur, starting your own business,
Yep.
and the trades, like
If I was an 18-year-old or 19-year-old kid
right now,
now,
or you had an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old,
or if I could give advice to any 18, 19-year-old kid that's out there right now listening to this with any kind of work ethic,
at least explore it,
join a
right?
trade.
Explore
Because it's
the
going to be
option.
extinct. Nobody that's that age is going to want to do that work right now. They don't. So they're going to be begging people to do those jobs.
Well, there's your hot tip. Like, if you're listening, like, we're giving you the clean truth right now. So,
Yes. All right, I'm going to lump like big tech and big pharma into one. I had them separated out. I had some stupid ass notes here, but I mean, to be honest with you, man, these two companies right here, you could, in a way, you could point the finger at them for everything we're sitting here talking about right now. Everything.
I feel you.
Literally could.
Keep going.
Like the censorship that we've seen on Instagram, Twitter, all this crap is very, very, very frightening. It's scary, downright scary. I mean, to me, I think they need regulated. I don't know how. I don't know how that works. I'm not going to pretend to know. But I think they need to be regulated somehow. They should not be able to do what they're doing. And it's only going to get worse. As technology advances, as time goes on, it's only going to get worse. And pharmaceutical companies, big pharma as they call it, man, that's like been an elephant for years. It's no secret. Everybody knows. You know, it's always been a running joke for as long as I've been alive and mature enough to understand it, that there's been a cure for cancer for 30 years. We've just never known because nobody wants to admit it, and people are going to lose a lot of money if they release it.
right.
So, I don't know. To me, that's too bang, bang. Like, put them down.
Again, I'll put that in the like child trafficking side of things. Like that's coming to the forefront a little bit right now, but there's so much other stuff going on that like it's hard. You can't even fully address that. Like your list keeps going on, and you keep popping out like topics, and it's like, man, you sit back and realize like it's crazy to think that like you said, like censorship. That's a huge topic. You know what I mean? Like, but yet it's only like a minuscule little topic right now going on because of how much other stuff we're talking about on a
insane,
daily
man.
basis and
Yeah.
dealing with. Like it
thing
makes
that makes
me
it even-
laugh because I'm just like, this is nuts,
The thing that
man.
makes it even scarier is you have people who are completely oblivious that it's going on. And then when you try to tell them about it, they don't want to believe it. They don't want to admit that it's going on. Oh, that's a conspiracy. It ain't going on.
Yeah.
No, man. It's right here. It's right there.
We sit here and I could say loci bracelet 10 times. And I promise you, when I leave, I get in my car, I get home, I check my Instagram, somewhere there's an ad for a loci bracelet.
We
And
looked at we talked about grills last week. My internet and
mine too.
Facebook is blown up on every grill possible.
But to like what you're saying though, we sit here, we laugh, ha ha, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And then like, okay, what's our next thing for the day? We just kind of like let it go.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, they're watching us. Somebody's watching. They're listening.
have
So
been for
just like,
years, man.
so like, be ready for it.
They have been for years. Man, I think the last one that I have on here, and I did this one because I was just thinking in terms of like business situations and things like that, is import export. And love him or hate him, but my note next to this is I love Trump for this. I mean, I purposely didn't bring up the Trump Biden thing because it's just a useless argument. But love him or hate him, you've got to respect the fact that he's protected our economy enough to bring jobs back.
Right. You're talking about like just American made. Like that's been
Correct.
around for more than just this year. Like just your feeling about American made. I think
Correct.
that's big. I mean, there's no
I think
better time right now.
That's been going on for as long as I can remember. Is these big companies, You know, a quick one that pops into my head every time I think about this stuff is I remember when I was a carpenter, a lot of the big tool manufacturers were moving. They were moving to Mexico. They were moving out of the country because they could make these tools cheaper. And I'm like, man, here I am. I'm a union carpenter, supposed to be supporting, you know, American made. And we always joked around. We're like, man, I'm never buying DeWalt tools again. We bought them because they were the best ones. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, damn it, like, I want everything to come back to our country. I want our auto manufacturing to come back. I want all this stuff. And it gets a little monotonous and exhausting and aggravating when every year there's an election. It's the same bullshit that both sides are arguing about. We're bringing jobs back. We're doing this. We're doing that. Never fucking happens.
Yeah.
Never happens. Except for this time. It happened. Did it happen like, you know, 100%? No.
No.
Could he have done more? Probably. I don't know. But I don't know what your opinion on that is, but
Keep our money here as much as possible.
I agree.
I'm with that. That doesn't mean, you know, I agree with everything that the man has done or hasn't done or anything like that. But it's, you know, we like if it's cheaper to go make it in China, I'm all for a tax that by the time you get it here, it's cheaper to make it in America. Just like we need to keep our money right here, you know. And I think anybody that's working to do that. I mean, I'm unemployed. Anybody listening to this that's hiring, shout out to me. You know, but like, you know, we need money in our own economy. We need jobs, and you know, we need those opportunities. You know, selfishly for us, for Americans.
Sure.
You know, all of us.
Now, listen, I think there's absolutely a need for global trade. So I'm not saying I don't agree with, you know, import-export trade from other countries. That's what makes the world go round.
Right.
So there's absolutely a need for it. My point is I think that, you know, companies are doing things. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. I don't know how to explain it the right way. But, I mean, like, these auto manufacturers are moving their plants over to China to save money, and they're killing our own economy by doing it.
Yeah.
Just I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, you got to make sure like that the money is coming back to us. So
The juice worth the squeeze.
yeah,
I like it.
trademark.
Mm. Man, that's all I got. I don't want to go any deeper, man.
No,
Not today. Save it
that
for
was
another
good.
time.
How many topics did we just cover right there?
6, about 9 of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you kept going down that list, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, like,
But you see,
lump them together or separate them. It's like, there's
but
so
what
much.
we just did for Scott, I don't know how much time we're on, 45 minutes to an hour maybe. What we just had a civilized adult conversation about these that are very, very, very important topics. Nobody raised their voice.
No.
Nobody got heated. Nobody got up and said, "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving." It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I think the more that people learn how to do this is when you're going to see a dramatic change in the world. And I don't know. I mean, hopefully we start an example. If we don't, we'll just keep doing it. I don't know what else to say. But.
You know, it's civil. It's kind of just educating because each topic is going to hit somebody a little bit differently.
Sure.
But if you can make a little bit of a change to one of those topics on a daily basis, then
Keeps you open-minded.
kind
It's
of like
okay,
we were saying, yeah.
well, what makes you think that? Why do you think that? Why is that important to you? So
Part of why I think this works too is that I don't always know the subject and the matter, but like right now I know the man. And so like, as I'm speaking with you, like I might not agree on every opinion that somebody else has, but right now, like I know you, I know your heart, I know you, I know your heart. And I think that's important too, that like anybody else that wants to be able to have these types of conversations, like I don't think that this would work with strangers. Like, I think it's important that they have background and relationship and mutual respect for each other and are willing to, you know, call people on the bullshit and have the tough conversation, but it definitely needs to happen.
But I think it could spiderweb just off of that. So I agree with you. I don't think that this would work with strangers. I think it would turn into an argument. Mm-hmm. But if more people, I don't know, say your cousin. I'll use your cousins for an example. Say you had 2 cousins that listen to this. And they were like, hey, that was pretty cool. And then they went back and they started talking to their cousins, you know, and then it just snowballs from there. Somebody that knew them really well, that knows who those people are inside, then they start doing it. You know what I mean? Just kind of a snowball effect. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys got some value out of that, and we'll do this again. This was cool. I like it. So
It's good. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, guys. Until next time.